Hello, I'm Tyler from Tyler Talks Books, and today I'm going to talk to you about one of my favorite recent reads of. It actually be hard to say, but I almost call it my favorite read of 2015, even though there were a lot of good books I read in 2015. That would be Something Like Normal by Trish Dollar. This book is about a young man, about 19, who returns back from Afghanistan. And after having seen a friend of his die in the war, his unit is back on leave, and he takes time to visit with his family, stay with his family. But he also struggles with PTSD, and that is a major conflict in this story. Which I've had PTSD as well. It's well controlled now, but I've had flashbacks and nightmares and the whole 9 yards. And it was not related to the military. I've never been in the military. So that's one thing. PTSD isn't only military people, but I could still relate to this book a lot. It's obvious that Trish Dollar did her research. And she lists a bunch of her sources in here, people she talked to that are in the military. And, I cannot tell you how many times I cried during this book. Page 3, I got hit right in the middle of the feels, and it just kept going from there. I read this book between The Rook by Dan O'Malley and Way of Kings, as a light read between those two books. Both are longer. And I finished it in less than 24 hours. I started it at night, fell asleep, woke up, and finished it. It was that good. I could not put it down, except obviously to sleep, but I almost couldn't put it down. And just what it says about mental illness and people's struggles with it, and there's a lot to say too on masculinity, and kind of bashes the concept of manning up in terms of and don't show emotion, you just deal with it, push it down, don't acknowledge it, don't get help, you don't need help, you can take care of it on your own. It kind of pushes all of that away and is no, that is bad. And I agree wholeheartedly. That is a very harmful assumption that men deal with, that not just in America, not just in the West, but there is a lot of pressure on men to a lot of the time be the strong, emotionless stone wall. This book acknowledges it's okay. It's okay to get help. It's okay to talk about your problems with somebody. If they think you're less of a man or less of a person for talking about your emotions, you probably don't need them in your life, is what this book is saying, and I can agree with that. In this book, it hit me really hard, and just how it wraps up. I'm not going to spoil anything, because I recommend you should read this, but just the way it ends, the way it wraps up, and the struggles that he goes through, that the main character Travis goes through, is just, this book is so good, and I recommend you read it. Trish Dollar has 2 other books out, one of them being Where the Stars Still Shine, and another one I don't remember the name of, but this is the only of her books I've read. I found about this from a recommendation. I hadn't heard of her before. I don't read much contemporary, like I previously mentioned, but this book is really good, and I see no reason to believe that her other books are any less good, and I plan on reading those in the future too. So, in short, this book is amazing. Has a lot to say on mental illness and masculinity, and you should pick it up. And I've been Tyler. I will catch you later.